All right, here we go. Third time's a charm, I hope, right?
Yeah.
So, hello everyone who may be watching. My name is Amy Simo,
I'm Mary Rogers.
and we are recording a new idea for Amped for Women. So, Amped for Women conversations around women's health and wellness, maybe inclusive of everyone, but we are women. So, that's what we know the most about and have the most experiences on. So, we really want to just have some conversations. About where we're at in life and things that we are seeing being in the health and wellness space ourselves and what we've experienced since we've been in that space. So yeah, I'll kick it over to you, Mary, if you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit and let's dig in.
Sure. Okay. Hey there. My name is Mary Rogers, as I introduced earlier. I am approaching 40 years old and I'm married with a 7-year-old daughter and a 21-year-old stepdaughter in our happy little family. So as Amy said, we work in the health and fitness industry. I'm a certified personal trainer. I have specialization certifications in stretching and in women's specific fitness. And Amy and I met training at a boutique studio in our local area. So right now I do private one-on-one sessions in that boutique studio. I also do in-home. I do small group classes also. Um, to give you a little history about my background in this industry, I did enter, as Amy did, this industry a little later in life. So I started in my late 30s. I before that I worked actually in food and wine, and have some credentials with wine there. That was fun research. Um,
Expert credentials. Mary has
what,
all the knowledge on all the liquors.
that's funny because as I'll dive into in another episode, I don't even drink anymore. But I can help you out and answer all of your questions there if you'd like to, while we're curling those dumbbells, of course. um, so yeah, my husband and I ran a couple of restaurants in town for several years, and although it was really fun work, the lifestyle just held me back in all the ways. Held me back physically, held me back emotionally, mentally. And I was ready to make a change, and I wanted to shift my focus from what I looked like to how I felt and to real wellness. And so during COVID, I became a lot more um, focused on the actual wellness part of it, and really dedicated myself to fitness and nutrition. And over time became more serious, and then eventually decided to get my certification. So about 2 years after COVID, I became a certified personal trainer. So here I am today. And so Amy and I just have really interesting perspectives again, since we entered this industry later in life and have our own health journey, which I'll give you some more details about in another episode. But that's me. So Amy, who are you?
Yeah, well, before I tell you that, I want to introduce a fun fact because you mentioned that we met at the studio that we both trained at, but we actually met a few years prior to that. We met about 5 years earlier,
Yeah.
doing CASA training. What does that stand for? Court Appointed Special Advocate.
Yes. In
Yeah,
other
so
areas, I think guardian at something. Yeah, but
oh
yes.
yeah, it's a program for helping foster kids, right? And so we actually went through that very intensive training together. It was I don't even remember. It was several weeks, a couple of nights a week,
Yep.
and anyway, it was a small group of people, maybe like 20 or 30 people, but we
It
actually
was.
met there, and then
Yeah.
we re-met at the studio, and I think for several months we were both like, "You are so familiar," and could not figure it out. And then I don't remember how we figured it out, but one day we figured it out. So
Oh, oh,
um, it's just a testament to how things kind of come back around because now we are very close. We're much closer, and it's almost like we were kind of meant to be in each other's lives. So it didn't work out at that point after
uh-huh.
we finished that training, and then we came back together. So
Yeah. I like took the words out of my mouth. Like it's obvious that we were supposed to be together at some point.
and do something. and do something. So yeah, we'll talk about that something. I'll let me introduce myself a little bit more now. So my name is Amy Simo. I am 37, close to 38 years old. And I am a certified nutrition coach and personal trainer. I am also more recently a certified nutritional therapy practitioner. And I got to that because I really wanted to focus on the nutrition and lifestyle in terms of not just weight, but really how healthy is your body, and what can we do to increase health and longevity, and increase quality of life, outside of just weight loss, because weight is not always an indicator of health. So nutritional therapy really digs into a lot more of what's going on the inside. So I, like Mary, got into this during COVID. So maybe a little bit before Mary, but during COVID, I had some career shifts. I was actually let go of my job that I had been at, a company I'd been at for 13 years. And while it was a big stress release for me, it was also a time for me to figure out, what do I really want to do? And I had this passion for health because of my own health journey that I had been on for a long time, pretty much my entire life. And so I had been really interested in studying nutrition and learning more about it, learning more of the science behind it. And so I decided to do a few things during COVID. I decided to go freelance. My background is in digital marketing, so I also do some freelance marketing work. But I also decided to pursue this interest in health and wellness. So I became a personal trainer. I was working at my gym at the time, and became a nutrition coach. And now I am trying to help people with their nutrition and lifestyle and all the good things there. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's me.
that's awesome. So that's Amy and I. So some things we have in common, like she said, we both came into this a little later in life. We had our own journeys in nutrition and fitness, and we will definitely go into more of those at another episode where we kind of like focus on more of our backstories. And then we really just wanted to be here to kind of talk about things going on in the industry, things that we see, and things from our perspective. Again, coming into it a little bit later in life and having our own struggles and our own confusions. We know that there are other people out there kind of navigating that landscape. And I personally believe it's really, really confusing, and sometimes intentionally confusing for women. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of questions and a lot of things we don't know. So we wanted to talk about those things and let everyone in on our discussions.
Yeah, and I think because we came into it, like you said, later in life, we kind of already had our mindset framed in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that was really important as we, and from my perspective, when I started training, I started at a group training facility, and there, I loved it. I loved the gym, and I loved what the gym stood for. But when I started paying attention to the trainers across the country, I really felt out of place as a trainer, because I didn't look like all the other trainers, but I had my own journey and my own history. And so even though I didn't look like what a normal trainer would look like, there was a reason why I was there. But it gave me kind of a complex, because then I had spent so long really working on my own mental health and my own mindset around body image and things like that, that all of a sudden I was starting to feel like something was wrong again, like questioning, am I enough for this? Am I good enough? Do I need to adjust my goals? Do I need to work even harder at do I need to change what I'm doing? And so that really kind of shifted my perspective of, what is this industry all about, and where do I fit into it?
Yeah. I think that's really important to talk about. Thanks for saying that, because I think one thing that you and I have in common, and again, kind of an underlying theme of what we're trying to do here, is our mindset about fitness and nutrition and wellness is definitely not driven by the aesthetic. So I think that's what makes Amy and I unique, is that we strongly believe that it is so much deeper and more complex than just how much of your abdominal muscles are showing. Then it's way more important than just the number on the scale, than how many inches you lost. Those are all, motivational factors. Those can all be important factors for whatever your unique goals are. But it's so much more complex than just those things. And um, we really want to spread that kind of message. So for me personally, my mission through this journey and entering this industry has really been about helping people feel better about themselves, especially women, especially through exercise, and especially women of a certain age. Because as we all edge toward menopause, there's so much we don't know about that, and the landscape is so confusing, and we've all been told these things about what we're supposed to look like our whole lives. And uh, I really just kind of want to shatter that narrative, and I feel like you're in line with me about that. So, and I've also had
Yeah.
my complexes about the way I look and in and outside of this industry. So yeah, thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't necessarily go away, right? Like it's something
No,
that you kind of fight day in and day out, and you have to come back to your, your stable point, and remember your why and what's important. And especially, you mentioned this idea around aesthetics and women of a certain age. There's still a whole generation out there that is so focused on, you know, the arm fat, and like things like that, where it's okay. It's okay to want to monitor certain things. It's okay to want to lose weight. It's okay to want to lose inches. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But in the absence of good health practices, what is that doing for you? And I think that's really where um, I really want to challenge people to say, especially when you're aging, like we want to age well, right? We want longevity, we want quality of life as we age. But if you are toward the end of your life cycle, I mean, the average lifespan right now is 76 years old. So for a woman who is in her 70s, why is it so important to want to lose, you know, 5 pounds, or if something, that's, I don't want to say it's silly, but it can seemingly be silly when, you're so focused on that it disrupts all of the good things that you have going on in your life, and it prevents you from enjoying life. That's
yeah,
just, why do you want to live your last however many years you have left focusing on that?
right. For me personally, I feel like it would be way more important for me to focus on how well I move around so I can spend those years with my family. So I don't have to worry about being, the object of everyone's desire or looking the way I did at 28. Yeah, there are just some other things that, in the grand scheme of things, and just to me personally, seem really, really important. And when I look at it like that, you made such a great point. Do I really care about stressing myself out and potentially putting myself in harm to lose that 5 pounds? What is that really going to do for me? And really, at any age, like at
Mm-hmm.
what? So is it sacrificing my mental health? Is it sacrificing my relationship with my family? All those things need to be considered, and that's really what we want to talk about. It's about a balance, and again, it's just so much more complex than what size we're wearing.
Yeah, and like you said, at any age, I don't mean to pick on anyone in particular,
Oh,
but
yeah, did
at
kind of go off menopause age though, so
yeah, at any age, I think there's such a propensity to sacrifice health um for aesthetics, and
yeah.
it's just, there's a lot. We have a lot of opinions, and when Mary and when we first met, I think I will talk about my what? Say that again.
Hearing you talk about when we first met, so go ahead.
Oh yeah. So when we first met, I mean, Mary is a lovely person. I think anybody who meets Mary immediately falls in love with her because she's just like she
Oh,
looks right now. She's so energetic, so
right.
smiley. I am the exact opposite. I don't give off the good vibes. I'm a little standoffish if you don't know me. But
Oh,
you know, Mary and I met, and I think my first impression of Mary was, okay, she's super sweet, but I don't know if we vibe very well. And then you were going to a yoga retreat or something like that, yeah, and which I'm sure
no,
was,
treats. I love yoga, but just this one in particular was interesting.
yes.
Anyway,
So Mary was going to this yoga retreat, and then I was like, oh, maybe yeah, we're not like, we wouldn't vibe because I don't know, I was on a different level at that time. And when she came back from the retreat and I asked her about it, and she said, well, it's not really something I would do that often. And we started talking more about it, and I said, oh, okay, maybe we are on the same page. So we started, and I think at that point I was in a like in a time frame where I was really stressed out and there were some things going on. And one day I just really needed to vent. And Mary was the person in front of me, and I started venting, and her response was so cathartic. And it was like, okay, this is somebody absolutely who understands and can relate, and can, you know, I can genuinely be myself. And we've just been, you know, tight knit ever since, I feel like.
yeah, we sure have. And I mean, that's just like so heartwarming to hear you say, because I want everybody to know that I could not have survived the first year without Amy. She was, I needed her so much. Yeah. So, well, that was really sweet to hear. I feel like we might be nearing our time limit here. So,
Yeah,
where
so
are we?
let's just I mean, I think we've got a little bit of time, but maybe we
Okay.
can just kind of talk about a little bit more about the things that we want to um talk about. Like, what is our goal here? What is our mission? I mean, obviously there's a lot of things out there already, right? And that's part of the problem. We said there's so much information, but there's a lot of podcasts out there. There's a lot of you know, blogs and things like that. So what are we really trying to do here?
Sure. So, going back to what I said in the beginning, my main mission always is to help people feel better about themselves. And especially through exercise, especially women of a certain age. And I feel like having these conversations, you know, just to pick a few that are upcoming that we want to talk about, weight loss drugs, um, the skinny obsession, any kind of disordered eating. Those are just a couple of things we wanted to talk about. And I feel like if we talk about those things, you know, with our perspective, we're going to find other people who can find some comfort and peace in our conversations, knowing that they're not alone and knowing that they're not doing everything totally wrong. Just finding a place where they can relate. And to me, that's like step one in helping someone feel better. Right. So that's still the underlying cause for me. The underlying mission is just to help people feel better, find a safe space for them where they can listen and be like, oh, okay, this is a safe spot for me. And I can go forward and navigate and ask these questions and advocate for myself with my healthcare professionals, with my personal trainers, et cetera. So what about you? Your take on it?
Yeah, I think it's really just about having, like you said, that a safe space to have conversations, and especially being kind of on the inside of that, but coming at it with a different perspective. I mean, when I say on the inside of that, being in working in the health and fitness space, and what I've experienced as a somebody, you know, not as a professional in my health journey, transitioning to somebody as a professional in the space, and you know, the experiences there, and how there's kind of a what do you call it, like a mismatch of um, you know, of opinions and ideals, and I don't know, just different things. I'm rambling, but having those conversations, and not necessarily to say that one thing is right or wrong, but you know, I think Mary and I in general, we want to promote health for everyone, and we want to promote health and quality of life, and feeling good, and you know, secure body image and all of that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, doing it there's only one way to do things, or that people are doing it right or wrong. It's just
Right.
about having those conversations about why is our thought process the way that it is, and how can we support physical health and mental health without sacrificing the things that we need to live a good life, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
You said that so well. Yeah. It's about health, quality of life. And for me, when I teach exercise, that's one of the avenues, right? So it's never about, we gotta make your body so sore, every single time until you fit in that bikini. That's not what it's about. You know what I mean? It's just one ingredient in this recipe of happy life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
great.
And when I work with a nutrition client, a coaching client, I always start with mindfulness and awareness, because understanding, what you're actually eating and how it's impacting you is the start to a foundational approach of lifestyle, and how do I eat to achieve the goals that I want and live the quality of life that I want down the road.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
awesome.
Oh,
So
great.
that's a
I'm,
wrap on that.
yeah.
Hopefully we won't do this again. This is actually like the third time we've tried recording this intro. So I think that was good. I think we've got a
I
winner.
feel good about this one. No,
So
perfect.
yeah, so we don't necessarily have a calendar or anything outlined. We're kind of going on a whim, and just, you know, riding the wave and seeing how we feel. And so we have a few ideas for the next one, and we'll maybe jump on again and talk about something else, and we'll
Yeah.
go from there.
And look, before we say farewell, go ahead and anybody who ends up watching this, leave a comment, tell us what a topic that you might want us to talk about. Or even share your opinion, in later episodes about what we've talked about. We want to hear all that. It's a conversation.
Yeah. And share it with your friends, maybe. Give us some grace too, because we're new at this. So give us
Definitely friends. Be like, oh my gosh, look at these two funny girls.
I can't wait to compare this to, hopefully we keep doing this for a while, and then down the road what those conversations are like, and
Yes,
all
I
of the
know. It's
things.
gonna be great.
All
Well,
right.
so much to everybody who ends up watching this, and for any future viewers, thanks. This has been fun already.
Yeah. And we'll be back on the next episode of Amped for Women.
Amped. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.